Alrighty, so this is kind of an out of sequence update. Not sure what video this will fit into, but got the Coupe GT to a good stopping point, working on some parasitic draws on it, but it's up and running and driving. I got the wheel locks off, and so it has some nice shiny new wheels and tires, most importantly new tires, which is what it desperately needed. So that is something that I'm probably going to go over in a walk around video soon. But before we get rolling on this, going to obviously get the hood off, as I mentioned before, but I had to get the workbench clear. So this is the cleanest it has been since I don't really know when. But this area here is pretty much all going to be part storage. There's a bunch of stuff in the back. Easy access. So those are new parts. Those are engine parts that came with it. That's interior stuff, so that's going to stay in there. But I'm probably going to stage all of this stuff, as well as hit the vise, as well as the remainder, the heads, rockers, push rods, that stuff's going to come off. It's generally, besides the cylinder heads, it's about as torn down as it's going to be. I'm probably going to pull the lifters to clean them up, and I will, now that they're where they're supposed to be and I can control where they go back in, I am going to take them out and label all of them so they go back to their original home. But this, I kind of need... Howdy campers. So before I make too much of a mess of this, we are back 2 weeks later to the same junkyard with a 1995 Discovery. Now, this is the exact same engine as is in the red Land Rover, and it's not 100% what we need, but it is much closer than the Range Rover. So, same style intake manifold. The fuel system is going to be a tiny bit different. These are your heater lines. This is, you know what? Oh my gosh. Maybe that will work. Okay, so there's a really good chance I'm going to get to work, and I'm going to try and film some, but I'm also going to be kind of just cramming through it to get it out of here. So I'll try and bring you along for as much as I can, but stuff like this is definitely coming home. Someone already got the throttle position sensor, of course, and I guess they wanted the water pump, but this, hopefully, yeah, that's good. This is definitely coming with us. I do not need any of the ignition stuff, but I'm probably going to grab this PCV stuff, even though I don't think I need this, but I might take that throttle body linkage, not the throttle body linkage, but the throttle cable and cruise control module, things like that. And then some interior stuff. I just got here and went right to town. I haven't even looked at the interior yet, but this is huge. I want to thank everyone that's already given me leads on parts and sent me parts. I'm probably just going to get duplicates because that's kind of the guy I am, but I haven't seen one of these in almost 2 years, I think. Range Rover shows up and got my hopes up. Didn't have as much as I wanted. Now this is here, and this is going to cover so much ground for me. So I'm going to get to work. Like I said, I'll try and film what I can, but this is huge. Okay, progress check. We got the top two pieces of the intake manifold off. Got the throttle body left on the top. So here's what we're looking at. We got our top part here with the throttle body. I think I'm actually going to take this linkage. I know we have one for the other truck, but it's kind of bent up, and unless they're going to charge me some ludicrous amount, I'm going to take that one just to be safe. That is the middle portion of the intake manifold. So we are now down to this part here. So what we're going to have to do, oh, that thing is filthy, get the last of this stuff out of the way. I'm going to have to pop this off and then just get access to those bolts I was talking about in the earlier video. Sorry, I'm not even pointing at anything. All that's going to come off, and there shouldn't be, besides, I've already got this loose. This is much easier access than that Bosch engine, so this I think is our only thing in the way. May have to take apart this huge bracket here that holds all this stuff. Thanks for the reminder. Gonna pop that off right now so I don't forget. But yeah, we're getting somewhere. This is maybe 20 minutes of work, so I'm pretty happy with how this is going. May even take those cables, but once again, I used to get a lot more stuff in the past, trying not to just hoard parts, even though there is some valuable stuff here that I want to take with me and hang on to, but I want to get the bare minimum plus little margin, you know, just to be safe. But here's where we are. Found something I wanted to share. Oh, the stories that junkyard cars can tell. So what we clearly have, get out of the way, stupid AC lines. Looks like there was a bit of an exhaust leak, and so they wrapped it up in tape and put a particularly nice C-clamp on it and called it a day. I'm going to be taking that home with me because it's a nice old American C-clamp, so there's a bonus one there. Alright guys, we did it. We got it stripped down to the bare minimum, got everything off. Now, why won't it come free? I'm going to be careful. I don't want to bend any of the corners. I don't need to take the valve covers off. It would make it a little bit easier, but do you know what I forgot this time? My 12.8mm socket. But I shouldn't need to take the valve covers off to get the intake manifold out. And I could just start wailing on it, but I'm trying to go delicately because I don't want to, there are all these areas down here and over here. I don't want to bend those up, but check back in once it's off, see what I figured out. Okay. That wasn't terribly hard, but I wouldn't say that was easy. What I forgot is that so here it is. What I've forgotten is that, of course, it is, I did that, is attached to the valley pan gasket. So we can go over this more later, but you know that rusty spot with the water pass through? There it is there. On this one, look how clean that is. This is in, these heads are really clean. And I would just assume that this has had head gaskets before, just based on the fact that it made it this long, but it doesn't really look like a lot of the stuff coming apart kind of seemed like it was original, but there it is. Also shows that you don't need to take the valve covers off, thank God, because that would have really bummed me out. But what stands to be determined between the 95 and the 97, I'm told, is going to be fuel pressure regulator. This connection looks the same, but I think there's the mirror image of this on this one. So if nothing else, this saves me 8 injectors, you know, the actual aluminum intake manifold itself, hardware. This water neck is different. I have the water neck for the 97, and it does not have this. This is not tapped out. It's actually just one solid piece, so there must be another temperature sensor somewhere else. But I also, the harness should be intact, but I hate cutting up a harness, but if I need to replace one of these pigtails, I have all 8 of them. So, once again, we got all this hardware that mounts. This flipped over kind of funny. So, all the hardware from this, the serpentine tensioner, pretty much all the hardware I came across. We got, just for the heck of it, I'm going to take those 8, where are they? Or more than 8, but the intake manifold bolts, the ones that go up here, just so I have plenty of spares. I got the breather. And once again, there's also some spares. Oh yeah, I'm probably going to take from down there the upper intake manifold throttle linkage connection. I got the MAF. I got the hose. I'm going to do a quick once around. May as well show you guys the interior now. So this little friend is, first and foremost, very stinky. Cloth interior. I need a lot of these screws, but these are pretty terrible. So I may just track that stuff down new. And I don't know if the Junkyard did this or if it, oh, I just crushed my leg. This thing's pretty nasty. I'm pretty knackered. All of these doors are stuck closed except the driver door. That one, they've all been unsuccessfully pried open. But yeah, that window's broken, obviously. This thing, I don't know what its story is. Oh, I do need, it has one of these to give up. This one here is broken, but yeah. I'll just, since we're here, I love this color. This is a real bummer. And my phone's ringing. Anywho, this is awesome color. It's a real bummer this one ended up the way it did, but it's clearly, it's had all sorts of funky stuff going on in its life. Yes, this is my Junkyard hat. Thanks for noticing. Everything that can be pried on has been pried on. This one does actually open. And yeah, I need the rear carpet from it, but it's just, this is a sad little critter. I think that is a Land Rover Bosch starter, but as you've seen, I have two at home. That actually is a Discovery one mirror, but we do have one. Not dying for spare. Okay. Junkyard cars, right? Yeah, I don't think I need too much from this. And I'd like to, yeah. I could have used this, but I just bought one online. It's a pretty nice one, so I'm not too broken up about that. But I bought one of these, and of course the driver door hinges. But if I'm not mistaken, it's probably not much better than the one I have. So that's it for today, folks. We got just about everything we were looking for. And I'll let you know how long that took. Quite a bit. But all things considered, for an engine teardown, not too bad. It certainly goes faster when you're in the junkyard, I think. Not being as careful, but yeah, thanks for coming along, guys. This was another really nice surprise. Hopefully this is finally going to be what we need. If not, I'll at least have fewer parts to track down. So, got our lower intake manifold there, fully populated, which is sweet. All right, gang, home safe. And we got a great haul. I certainly don't think this was the last time we're going to go run out for parts. In fact, there is a little road trip coming up, which by the time you watch this, you probably will have already been done. You already will have heard about it one way or another. But we'll go through these items piece by piece. Let's get a nice, here we go, nice little pointer. So let's go through essentials that absolutely will work. This one, serpentine tensioner, absolutely will work. This is, that you can buy these new. The cheapest I found is about $60, but your MSRP is right around $100. This throttle linkage, let's take a look. See, it's gonna get shocked by light, or can you guys? So that is, I'm a dummy and I can't even notice. This, to me, looks bent. And you guys just saw it and my brain already blanked. This might be slightly different, but this is pried out. I suspect that this is damaged. And I could just bend that back in place, but I saw it and I said, you know what? It's a similar mounting position on the upper intake manifold. So I'm just going to grab one. I don't know how much I paid for it. If I run back up there, I may even return it if I decide that if they don't match, and that one can just be fixed. But anywho, back to the subject at hand. So, is it? Anyways, got another one of those in case I need it. That was a 1995. This, I think the fan clutch and fan are exactly the same, in which case this fan alone is like $130. The clutch, I think, is about $100. So that's certainly a good spare. And I'll come back to that one. This is a 95, I think 95 and 96 MAF. I already have two spares, but they're well over $100 new, and I paid, they probably charged me up about $15 this boot as well. This is in good shape, no cracks, no splitting, no, warpage from oil contamination. This is a 95, maybe only a 95 distributor. Again, I have two of those. However, this one has the original vacuum advance, which is an original Lucas part. It has an original Lucas made in Italy cap. It has an original Lucas rotor and an original Lucas dust shield. which leads me to believe that it is original. That might mean it's terrible and broken and doesn't work, and that's the whole reason the truck got junked, but it's good enough to find original parts that I want to keep it. This is an inertia switch, or the flip over fuel pump switch. I don't have any spares of that, and it's just a good item to have, and again, it was cheap. I think these were just in a $1 bag. Same with this. I think this is a map, GM style map sensor. I'm not 100% sure, but again, I think I have 1 or 2 spares of that. I did have the foresight to not take the whole goofy 3.9 liter upper and middle intake manifold. I don't need that. They would have charged me a bunch for it. And I do have a limit there. This is the kind of thing... Gravity. This is the kind of thing I would never normally buy at a junkyard. But it's a Dayco European, made in Italy, 95, probably 95 only serpentine belt. And again, this is just not the kind of thing I buy at the junkyard. However, this is in extremely good shape. Like, I mean, it's dirty from the junkyard, but that was just from my handling, really, because I also tried to use it to stall the power steering pump to get the hardware off. I was marginally successful. So before it got all filthy when I was handling it, it's very new. And these are only $35 new, but I mean, it's a good backup. It's not going to be my first choice, but there you go. Also, this may be 95 only. This is the, I may have that wrong, but this is, here we go, something like this. These are coolant hoses that go to the heater core into the cab, and there's a connector hose here. Again, I basically got that thrown in. It may be different. So, on to the intake manifold. This is a 95. I believe the actual aluminum body is going to fit and be the same. I believe the injectors are the same. I believe the sensors are the same. This may have a sensor or two that's different. I suspect that this fuel rail might not fit the 97. I talked to a fellow in Texas who works on these a bunch, and he mentioned some part of this about the fuel lines and the regulator being different. That may be the case still for where I am now. To go from nothing to this, I know that some part of this is going to be useful. And if it's not, and I do enough research and I confirm that it's not what I'm looking for, then I'll bring it back in and get my money back. I do know for a fact, fortunately it came with it, there is a different water outlet. The thermostat is behind this. You can't see it from there, but there's a different water neck because the 97 does not have this sensor. It either uses a different sensor somewhere else, or it's just one way or another, it's different. But I'm not too worried about that because I do have this. It's got the original hardware, and I've, of course, got the gaskets for it. Some very important hardware I did get. These 6 bolts I didn't have. I now have those. They're going to match the intake manifold I already have. There are also 6mm hex bolts, which attach the upper part with the throttle body to the intermediate. So that is just a big run along little show and tell of all the goodies I got. One more item, just in full disclosure, to see how much this kind of stuff will run you. Miscellaneous accessories, they just threw that in, which was awesome. The intake manifold itself, $23. Fuel line, they said it was going to be 2, but then they only charged me for 1 just because it's a wraparound. They counted the aluminum, that tube, as 1 fuel line, which is really nice. So there we go. It's $8 there. Injectors, that is only $3.15 each, but then of course they charge me for 8. Core charge, they do. I have none to bring back, so not going to get any core charge. MAF, that's a pricey item, $19. Still on eBay, when you find them, they can be well into the triple figures. So, fan blade, that's a super cheap one. Again, Junkyard Economics, that's a really, really, really expensive part new, which, $8, because if they just average the price out across all the engine fans, GM one, Ford one, Toyota one, probably going to be cheaper. But for me to know and them to trust me on. Fan clutch, so that's actually $10. Again, that's another really pricey item if you can find it. Engine pulley, $5. So that's the tensioner. So that's $60 to $100 I'm saving, which is great. Belt, Yeah. So there you go. It's a phenomenal price for a good quality spare. I'm happy to spend 30 to 35 on a new one just because that's a very, very particular item. But if something, this one is good enough where if a vehicle came in with a terrible one, I would happily put that on, for the short term or maybe even the long term. Distributor, that actually is, I think, the second most pricey item. But again, you can't get those anymore. That's an original Lucas piece. Very excited to have it, even though I do have 3. But then that's the kind of thing I can throw up on eBay and make good money on in a pretty short time period. Core charge for the distributor, I probably won't. It's not worth, $6 back to drive another half hour up north. I'm just going to eat that one. I don't care about a core charge there. And then miscellaneous, they charged me $11 for all the hardware. That's still a decent price. I didn't show you the detail. Oh gosh. Not going to see much there, but a ton of hardware, which I'm very much, hardware is just hardware, and I'm probably fixating on it. You guys are probably tired of hearing about it, but hardware, using the right hardware that's in good condition can be the difference between literally ruining an engine block. Like, you can basically fix anything, but ultimately, if you're using the wrong stuff or it's the wrong length, you can cause so many more problems if you aren't careful about what you're using. So that's why I'm adamant about using the correct amount of hardware, the correct kind of hardware, the correct grade, the correct material. And that's just overkill, I think, probably coming from an aerospace background. But all right, I've already stretched this on for long enough, and you guys are probably tired of hearing my yapping. But thanks again. You'll be the first to know the next progress. Skirt! Just kidding. It is freaking Land Rover Christmas. Just got home from the junkyard and found a cat. What do we have here, guys? What do we have here? Ma'am? What do we have here? Paper. Big, very beautifully packaged. Just outstanding. Oh my gosh, that is not a little muddy. But in terms of sun fading, ooh. Yes, with the connector, with the pigtail, just in case. Yeah. Power mirror. Oh, yeah. But that's not all, folks. Ooh. What were we saying about hardware? Actually, I'm going to run through that paper just to make sure there's no bolts in there. So we got one piece of hardware. Set to the side. Oh, look at all that. Oh, we have complete, oh gosh, God bless them. Door tether, including the interior portion of it. We have, these must be the interior shims for adjustment. Didn't even know that I needed those. And yeah. Oh. With, okay, great. So that's the right Torx hardware. Oh. All right. I am a happy little camper. Okay. Now, that's it for today. Thanks, guys. Sun fading. Ooh. Yes, with the connector, with the pigtail, just in case. Yeah. Power mirror. Oh, yeah. But that's not all, folks. Ooh. What were we saying about hardware? Actually, I'm going to run through that paper just to make sure there's no bolts in there. So we got one piece of hardware. Set to the side. Oh, look at all that. Oh, we have complete, oh gosh, God bless them. Door tether, including the interior portion of it. We have, these must be the interior shims for adjustment. Didn't even know that I needed those. And yeah. Oh. With, okay, great. So that's the right Torx hardware. Oh, all right. I am a happy little camper. Okay, now that's it for today. Thanks, guys.